Welcome back everyone to more of our custom career mode and career experience. And we're coming off of a fantastic race at Chicago. Everything was working well except for the AI at the starts. They definitely had some trouble there, but the race itself was a lot of fun and we did as well as I believe we could have possibly done. The car handled beautifully. We were in a lot of 3 wide for the first probably 10-12 laps of that race, and I could not have asked for any more out of the car. So at Chicago, qualifying position, of course, was last. I actually believe we were in 27th or 28th, but either way, we were at the back. That's the major thing. And then where do we finish? Well, we actually finished 11th, okay? But because of our performance, our relative performance, that's actually 36th. And you can see that is our best finish so far. I like it. Now at some point, again, we're going to get to that relative finish and we're going to improve that some. But for right now, we're spending our money elsewhere. So let's go ahead and finish off the rest of it. You can see we're going to need a new sponsor very soon. So we move our way over, total income there, $174,000, which again is the highest we've seen so far. Our marketing expense, I'm going to go ahead and do just a very simple copy and paste here to get the values in there, because in the future we will be upgrading our marketing level and I do not want to come back and change these numbers. No chassis damage. It was a very clean race, at least for us. As I look back through the results afterwards, the start where we had the outside lane that got really slowed up, there was definitely some contact there. There were probably 4, 5, 6 cars that had a 4X or greater. So yeah, they had some contact there. You do not want to be in that outside lane at Chicago on the start. But overall, we will take it. And really, the biggest thing for us right now in the Cup Series is no damage, because we're able to eke out a very small profit right now, regardless of where we finish, whether it's dead last and 40th or, a few spots in front of that. No damage is the key, because any damage whatsoever, and this is something we've looked at before, but for anybody who's new, even the minimum damage enough to trigger my use of the chassis damage would be $137,000, putting us well into the red and wiping out all of the profit we've made so far. So getting out of the race without damage is paramount for us. But we managed to do it once again. That's 4 races in a row that we have had minimal, if any, contact with the other cars. Now we're on to Charlotte. So let's talk about Charlotte for a moment, and then we'll move over to the Super Lates and we'll simulate a couple more finishes there. So Charlotte is a crown jewel event. Now, normally you'd start the season with Daytona as your first crown jewel event, but here at Charlotte, since we're only running the intermediate or downforce tracks, this is going to be a lot of fun, because as good as the car felt at Chicago, I'm hoping to carry that in. Of course, every track is a little bit different, wants something a little bit different from the setup, but I really feel like I've hit on some things with the setup that I can just fine-tune from here on out at these types of tracks. So I'm hoping I can hit on something at Charlotte that feels really good and can hang with the AI as well as can be expected in a 30-lap race. I'd like to do a longer race, but at this point, it kind of seems pointless since we can't really match their pace. I'll also be doing a skill spread adjustment, an overall skill adjustment. I'm not sure exactly how much. I'll make that decision after doing some practice sessions, whether we're going to make a very small adjustment or maybe a bigger adjustment for Charlotte. We'll just have to wait and see. But for now, let's hop over to series number 5, or actually, let's come back to the home screen for just a second. So something we talked about last time is a plan I came up with. And there are so many options available here in the spreadsheet that I decided I wanted to start an all-female roster in the Dirt Midgets and bring them up through, and we'll see how far we want to go with them. I will start them off in the Dirt Midgets, which is where they are now, and then we'll move them into the Dirt Super Lates, we'll move them into ARCA and so forth. Now, we can't move them into super lates because, well, we've got a 3-car team already, and there's not room for really anybody else other than, just that one additional driver. So we'll have to skip super lates and go straight into ARCA, and we'll see how far we want to take this. As fun as I think this is going to be, I might want to take it pretty far up the ladder. But let's hop over to series number 7, which is the Dirt Midgets. So we'll hop down here, and I want to show you guys what I've done. So I've already dropped their names in here. You notice we don't have any driver numbers yet next to them because I don't want it to start generating any cost or anything, because we're not quite ready to get this series up and running as a team owner. But I went ahead and dropped their names in here. Kaylee Bryson, Jade Avedizian, and Taylor Reimer, an all-female roster, and I can't wait to see what we can do with this. Now, the good news is we shouldn't have to wait too terribly long before we can move into this series, because our Asphalt Super Late program is generating some nice profit, and you can see the amounts we're dealing with here. Not near as much as what we've been looking at, especially on the Cup level, but also on the Asphalt Super Late model level as well. So very excited about the possibility of getting started there. So whenever we're getting closer to that, we'll come in here and we'll start looking at some actual totals that we need. But for right now, I went ahead and dropped these driver names in here because these are the ones I want. So now let's hop over to our Asphalt Super Late model program, and we are ready for race number 9 on the season. So as I hop over here, let's see where things are. Okay, so we've done our beginning adjustment for the season on relative performance, and then thankfully, because hey, we started out with $10 million from our investor, we had enough money to offset that, so we got back to a relative performance of 0, which was fantastic. So we've been able to get the generated finishes that our drivers so deserve rather than having their performance hurt. But we're going to simulate down to race 10 today, and one of the things I like to do is a relative performance adjustment after each 10 races, especially once I get up and going in a series. Now, if we were still sitting here at minus 25 like we are in the Cup Series, there's no reason to continue doing those because we're already at the back of the pack. But because we're not at the back of the pack right now, we're on even par with everyone else, then it'll be time for another adjustment. So let's go ahead and get 2 more race finishes simulated. The first being a crown jewel event. So let's hope this one goes very well. So we'll scroll across to the driver finish generation. Remember, 16, 17, and 21 is what we're looking at. I'm going to press F9. And, oof, not exactly what I was looking for. Not terrible, but not what I was looking for. 19, 15, and 10. All right. So keep in mind, it doesn't matter which order I put these in. You might notice that these are actually out of order. It should be actually 19, 10, and 15, but it's not something I'm going to worry about it. This is primarily as, for example purposes, to show you guys how this all works in the spreadsheet. So either way works perfectly fine. Now, you can see that did give us a very nice race purse amount, but I was certainly hoping for a lot more. I would have liked to have seen multiple top 10s. We didn't quite get it close on the other 2. We did get 1 top 10 here, but yeah, I was hoping for more from there. But the take home, we didn't have anybody that generated any damage, so I'll take it. Now let's do Myrtle Beach, race number 10 on the season. Same thing here, 16, 17, and 21. I'm going to refresh. So we got 7, 11, and 2. Oh, almost a victory there. 7, 11, and 2. I'm going to go ahead and put the 2 in here since that's where it belongs, right there. But yeah, that is a fantastic finish. Unfortunately, we didn't get these finishes in the Crown Jewel event because that would have definitely gotten us quite a bit of money. A second place finish is a nice payout for race purse. All right, now let's scroll over because I need to see where we are on our sponsors. All right, 8 more races. Oh, we're going to be ready for a new one there. And then 13 more here. So our first and third teams, it's going to be a little while before we need any new sponsorships, but Crocs are going to be leaving us. So we'll keep that in mind next time we're together. But now it's been 10 races. We need to do another relative performance adjustment. So again, for anyone who might be new, what we're going to do is we've got our season here, or our year. So it's 2022. We had our beginning adjustment as a new team. Then I'm going to put race 10 adjustment here to let me know as I am going back in the future why we did this adjustment. So this will be a loss. All right, and to see how much our loss is going to be right here, I could put any amount in here I want, or I can use the relative performance loss. I'm going to say it's a random number, but it's not completely random. It is based on probability. So let's see what we get. So once again, I am going to do an F9 to refresh. And I want to do it one more time. That actually did refresh, but it didn't change the number. And I want to change the number. Okay, it's not going to change the number. Let's do it one more time. There we go. We finally got a difference. So it liked the number 2 in that situation. So we've got a 10. So I'm going to drop a 10 there. Again, for example purposes, hey, I would have been perfectly fine with a 2. But in fact, here you can see after we've updated again, it goes to a 6. But I wanted to make that change so that you guys could see exactly how this goes. So now the next thing we're going to have is a purchase. And we're going to put, I'm just going to put another investment there and go with that. That'll be perfectly fine. So what amount do we want to use? Well, let's come back to the home screen. Where are we? Oh, we're just over $1 million. Okay, I like that. That million we could use in a couple of different ways. Number one, well, obviously we could go over to Series 7, the midgets, and get our team started quite nicely. Or we've got some options in the super lates. We could use this money to start our 4th team, because we've certainly got enough to do that. Or we could try to use some of this to offset right here, this 10 that we just generated. Now, this is where that 2 would have been looking really nice right there. So if we go 10, that's $275,000. It keeps us right on top of things. And remember, what this is, or at least what I'm using the relative performance to simulate, is the need for us to continually spend money on our equipment to continually get it better and better. Better setups, better parts and pieces. You get the idea. So right now, we had enough money in the bank to offset that. So now relative performance is good to go. So let's actually hop back to the home screen. We're now down to 800 grand. So we can choose. I believe we've got just enough money here to go ahead and expand into that 4th team. But we're going to be cutting it close. We're going to be cutting it close that we don't get any damage in the Cup race at Charlotte, and that we don't get any damage, or at least enough damage that would throw us into the negative with the super lates. So the question is, do we take that chance? And the answer is no. I'm not going to take that chance simply because of the Cup race. I think we're going to be fine, but I don't want to use any additional investors right now, particularly for something like damage, if we don't absolutely have to. So I'm going to hold off. I don't want to hold off because what I really want to do is get that 4th super late model team going on the asphalt side. But I'm going to hold off an extra video before we do that. So 800 grand, and we've got options. So now that we're sort of getting there, let's finish off today's series by taking a quick look at what this is going to cost us here in the dirt midgets. Let's just take a quick look here. I'm going to put purchase here. Remember, we've got 3 drivers right now that we're interested in. Okay, so I need to get down to a 3-team garage. All right, that's 700 grand. And with the midgets, we really only need one chassis. Not saying you couldn't use multiple different types of chassis for some of the bigger tracks, maybe some of the smaller, tighter ones. Who knows? But we're going to stick with just one chassis because I believe that would be good for what we need. That's $861,000. Not too bad. So once we do our performance adjustments, we're going to come out for about $1 million. Would be my guess. Around $1 million, maybe even a little bit less. So that's not too bad. So before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and blank these out because we're not ready to do this just yet. I just wanted to get an idea of where things were. So I am very happy about that. I'm extremely happy with where things are right now here in the career experience. Our Cup Series is off to a great start. Super late models on the asphalt side of things are generating quite a bit of money for us. In fact, that reminded me, we've got to do these before I forget. But look at the amount of money this is generating for us. Very nice indeed. So, hey, I can't complain. This is a lot of fun and hope you guys are finding ways that maybe you can enjoy it in a different way than what I'm doing. So that's going to do it for now. It's time to turn our attention to Charlotte. What kind of finish can we get there? We need the best finish we can get because this is a crown jewel event. Welcome everyone to Charlotte Motor Speedway, and this is how you line up the cars. On the front stretch, facing toward the fans, the one drawback is what you're about to hear. The spotter goes crazy.
Catch stop 10 car. Catch stop 18 car. Catch stop 48 car. Catch stop 24 car. Catch stop 31 car. Catch stop 1 car. Catch stop 47 car. Catch stop 23 car. Catch stop 7 car. Catch stop 22 car.
He'll eventually calm down as we all get lined up here on the backstretch, but yeah, I absolutely love that. That comes from all of my days at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. That's how they would line up the cars for all the big events, right out in front of the fans, so everybody can get a great look at the cars. You can get right up against the fence if you're not able to get on the track itself. Take pictures with the cars and so forth. That's how you're supposed to do it, and I absolutely love that, always have. But now for today's race, we're using a skill spread of 70 to 100, so a drop of 10 on both the men and the max, for a couple of reasons. Number one, we've talked about it. This should give us an opportunity to hopefully move up a little higher in the running order. Who knows, maybe we can get a little bit closer to the top 10 by the end of the race. The second reason is this is not one of my better tracks. It feels like you are racing in a shoebox at this place.
Green flag, green flag.
An extremely narrow racetrack is the way it feels to me when I'm racing here. All right, so at the beginning here, we're going to take a few laps and we're just going to try to get going. These guys are probably going to go nuts. They always do on the start of a race. You're going to see a lot of 3 wide probably, and I have no interest in it because there's nowhere to go right now. I mean, look at these guys. They're pushing 3 wide there, just a couple of rows in front of us, and it looks like it's 3 wide, at least 2 or 3 rows deep, just in front of us. And I am running what feels like about half throttle. Oh, we had somebody, I believe, get into the wall there. So again, I'm trying to give these guys some room. So, oh, look who was behind us though. Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. So Joey Logano, I believe, was the one that either got into the wall or got so out of shape that he might as well have been in the wall. And you can see, here he comes back. He wants revenge.
Got one outside.
There's nowhere for us to go here.
You're on the bottom. Outside.
And we are extremely loose right now. The setup was very challenging for this place. I had to put actually a lot more nose weight and cross weight in the car than I wanted to or expected to.
Clear outside.
So this is going to be a lot a lot more challenging than I originally thought. I had hoped that I could simply go with the setup, or at least something close to the setup that I had worked out up until now, but no, I had to definitely make some changes. So we're here 4 laps in, and we can go nowhere, which isn't the end of the world.
Got one outside.
Just trying to hang in there, let this thing spread out a little bit, see what we can actually do in the
Stay on the
car.
bottom. Still there.
But my car does not like this dirty air. Of that I can assure you.
Stay low.
This is one of those tracks I just do not have a good feel for. About the best I can do here is just okay.
Keep to the bottom.
Ooh, I do not want to get underneath Ricky Stenhouse 3 wide, so we'll back out and let him have that.
Stay
Couldn't
low.
tell if there was somebody on his outside, so
Keep to the bottom.
alright, so this bottom clearly is not where I want to be.
Clear outside.
Not really shocked about
Got one
that.
outside.
Ooh, watch out, watch out, watch out. A little too bumpy on the bottom there.
Stay low. Keep low. Clear the stop.
But you can see from the throttle trace, if you're looking in the bottom left-hand corner, I am not wide open. Very much at all at this place. I am not getting back into the gas hard on corner exit. All right, let's try this high side a little bit. Getting stuck on the bottom can work here because the bottom is really nice here, particularly in turn 1.
Got one inside.
But let's try this high side a little bit.
Keep it on top. Clear.
Excuse me, Mr. Stenhouse.
Outside. Stay low. Clear.
Yeah, there we go. That low side definitely can work. And for me, the high side's not as bad in 1 and 2,
You're without
in
20.
practice anyway. But 3 and 4 is where it gets a little interesting, trying to run that high side. Oh, these
Keep
guys,
it on top.
yeah, we want to wreck really badly.
Stay right there.
Kurt Busch is really trying to force his way through here.
Stay right there.
I don't know who's going to come out the other side, but I hope it's us.
Clear to the bottom.
Y'all need to sort this stuff out. And I'm sure Justin Haley would appreciate not being on the top of 3 wide.
Inside. Clear to the bottom.
I'm trying to let these guys work this out.
Inside. Stay high.
And lo and behold, who came out? Oh, look out. Yeah,
Keep it on top.
Justin Haley is not having a fun
Clear to
time.
the bottom. Got one inside. Stay high.
He got very crossed up there on the exit of 2. We got into him a little bit. I mean, just that is about as minor as you can have of contact.
Keep high. Clear. Inside.
But again, I'm just trying to weed our way through some of this as best we can right
Keep
now
high.
with what speed we have. This is one of those places, and I've heard Kyle Larson say this a lot. This is one of those times where the car is better than I
Keep it on
am
top.
at the track,
Stay right there.
meaning that, you know, the crew chief and the crew and the engineers and all set the car up to be a lot faster than my driving skill will take it. This is one of those tracks for me where I can set up the car and do a pretty good job of that, but driving it, I just don't have the feel for this place. So in place of that, I'm trying to use patience. Wow, that was very bumpy there. Really lost the front end there. So we're here on lap 12, and I haven't even looked up to see where we are in the running order. All I know is that so far, we have done a good job of avoiding the chaos for the most part. So here over the next lap or so, I'll try to find an opportunity to at least get an idea of where we are. Let's see, we are 17th. Okay, I'll take that. So our patience so far has gotten us almost to the top 15. We've caught up to the 45, Kurt Busch,
On top, clear inside.
who goes to the bottom, allows us plenty of room on the top. We appreciate that. That is some old school driving. If a guy runs you down, oh, what is happening right here with this front end? This is not what it was doing in practice. So the dirty air just working all sorts of magic for me. All right, you guys, instead of beating and banging on each other, I really appreciate it if y'all would just go. They were trying so hard to make contact with each other.
Stay right there.
Not sure what the 3 and the 14 had going on there, but I'd appreciate it if they would work it out somewhere else.
Stay high.
Because we got places to go. We've only got 30 laps, which seems like forever when your car's not handling good. If your car's handling good, it goes by in a flash. All right, so now we're up inside the top 15, running 14th. I'm really going to have to back up the entry to turn 3. Either that or try to use a lot of brake. But I'm trying to ease it over the bumps that are down there, apparently. So normally, with these setups, I try to find that edge of balance between loose and tight. Here, I tried to back that up a little bit. And instead of being right on the edge, I tried to back it up a little bit and give myself a little bit of extra security. Now, that's not going to help our speed on the long run by any stretch. But I thought it might give me a better shot of actually making it 30 laps.
Clear inside.
Instead of having a fast car for the first 10 or 12 laps and then wrecking
Still
it.
there. Clear the bottom.
So we'll see how it works out.
Got one
Ooh,
outside.
easy there, 10. Yikes. Like he was
Still there.
way out of the gas there on the exit. He must have gotten really tight.
Stay on the bottom. Clear to the top.
And I mean really tight. Because I had to get way out of the gas because I caught him in a hurry. So now, that's one spot closer. It's now going to put us in 12th position.
Got one outside.
Would have expected to see the 24 running a little bit closer to the
Still
front,
there.
but here he is in 12th, or excuse me, 11th. We're trying to take 11 from him.
Still there. Clear.
All right, so we'll take 11th from Byron, and now we'll look and see up here what we can do to maybe get ourselves closer to a top 10. If all these guys in front of us are lead lap cars, which, I mean, we're only on lap 20, so I gotta believe they are. That's a lot of positions that are available for us. All right, I'm gonna try this high side here. Well, never mind, they're all gonna crowd up here to the high side. And the 18 got pushed all the way to the top. Yeah, they're trying to get me to go 3 wide here in order to pass because they're wanting to use the middle and the top for 2 wide. And I'm not sure I want to go 3 wide. At least not until the last lap. Yeah, I mean, these guys are...
Outside.
The 18 is struggling big time. All right, this is not where I wanted to be, but here we are.
Hold your line.
Let's see if we can get through this corner better than these guys.
Hold your line. Outside.
All right, we made it through the corner, even with these guys, but that didn't really help us a lot.
You're in the top 10. Stay on the bottom.
Just being real careful. All right, so that's how you get them single file. You just try to make a pass on the bottom, 3 wide, and they figure it out.
Got one outside. Keep low.
That was actually a very good corner for us.
Keep low.
The 18 is worrying me. He keeps swerving.
You're on the bottom.
He's giving me one of those I am very angry with you swerves.
Hold your line. Got one outside. Still there. Keep to the bottom.
All right, now we got Ross Chastain to deal with.
Stay low.
Shouldn't be an issue as long as we can maintain our groove and he can maintain his.
Stay low. Keep low.
But as I said earlier, when your car is handling good, the race will be really short because it'll be a lot of fun for you. If it's not handling well, then it can be a long, long day. And at this place, you can't get out of the way fast enough if you're off the pace. All right, so we have, what, about 5 laps left, and we have made it inside the top 10. Woof. 8th position. I like it. I like it. I wasn't sure, especially at the beginning of the race, that we were going to have the speed necessary to get here, or the time. With the way those guys were stacked up at the beginning, and how hard they were racing each other, I was beginning to wonder if we were even going to have the opportunity, regardless of speed. But looks like 30 laps was plenty of time to get us into the top 10 with the speed that we have. So now the car is actually handling just fine. It's a little tight, a little snug, as we talked about, but that's okay. That's what I needed for this place. And you can see, I mean, we're almost at lap 30, and I'm still catching cars. And in fact, I've caught several cars here. So there's more spots to be had here, and I'm enjoying it. Remember, this is a crown jewel event.
Stay on the bottom.
We do have our relative performance to hold us back on our finishing position, but every position is worth even more money in this race, so we want it. Every position we can get, we want.
Clear. Outside.
They don't seem to be able to get down to this bottom
Keep to the bottom.
and hug the bottom, and that's really given us an advantage because I have been able to get down to the bottom and hug it pretty good.
Hold your line. Outside. Still there. Still there. Clear outside.
Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for. Oh man, that makes me feel so much better. I might actually start to enjoy this place a little bit more running like this.
White flag next time I have the stripe.
All right, here we go, white flag. And we have made it. Have we made it to the top 5?
P4.
I don't know. I didn't. Oh, P4. I heard it. All right, so let's finish it off strong. P4. Now, the best thing for me at this place, the long run. Here it is. We're at the end of the race, and we've still been passing cars. So that tells me that our long run speed here against the AI is much better than it has been at other places. So this is the track where we can run some long races. But today, patience paid off, because after 30 laps, we'll bring it home inside the top 5. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. 4th position here at Charlotte in one of my worst 1.5-mile tracks. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take that all day long, especially as loose as this thing was for the first few laps, I was having my doubts that maybe I didn't tighten it up enough for today. But this is exactly what we're looking for. So when we come back next time, we'll fill in some numbers, see how much money we made today, and then make some decisions about our ownership future here in not only the Cup Series, but that super late model series as well. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and stick around for more custom career mode and career experience.